President Donald Trump has now sent his border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota to settle things down. I asked Kristin Tate whether she expects the administration is going to wind back their operations.
That's what reports are saying. Not that they'll stop operations, but that it's seeming like they may wind them down. But I'm not sure that that's the right thing to do, Chris. I mean, the investigation into the shooting of that anti-ICE protester, Alex Previ, that hasn't been concluded. And I think it's important to point out that the shooting of Previ is not the same as the shooting of Renee Good, that other protester. That was clearly a justifiable shot as she was trying to run over an ICE agent with her vehicle, or she was clearly willing to do so. But here's what I think is important and is getting lost in a lot of the media coverage. The goal of the left-wing media and of cowardly Republicans and, of course, the Democrats is to take our eyes off of the big picture in hopes of someone dying will mean that illegal immigrants can just magically remain in this country. Sorry, but they've got to go, especially the hardened criminals. This is what Trump ran on and won on. And the leftists who are rioting right now in Minneapolis, they're obstructing police from arresting hardened criminals. In no moral world are you a hero for protecting murderers, child rapists, drug dealers, and gangbangers. And that is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, look, it's obviously a tragedy that this nurse, this protester, was shot dead, but a lot of the coverage seems to make it sound like some sort of unprovoked murder. Here was a bloke who was deliberately trying to disrupt ICE agents going about their business, and he did this while he was carrying a concealed pistol, a concealed weapon, legally, but he was carrying it, and then he resisted arrest, obviously. So this is the protesters putting themselves in this situation are really creating a dangerous situation.
And I'm not sure he was actually carrying legally because he didn't have his ID on him. So I think in Minnesota, you're actually supposed to have your ID on you while you're carrying. But you're absolutely right. In no sane world should you carry a firearm if you're going to intentionally obstruct police and then to resist arrest while you're carrying. It's just crazy. And I just want to highlight again what has been going on that has led up to this. I mean, these riots, we have had a protester bite off the finger of an ICE agent. We've had many of them crashing their vehicles intentionally into ICE vehicles. It's just complete chaos on the ground, and it's got to be put down. The Trump administration, I think, needs to stand strong here and do the right thing, continue the mission. And these rioters, I mean, of course, peaceful protesting is fine, but violent rioting needs to be stopped. And it doesn't help, by the way, when you have leaders in Minnesota, including Governor Tim Walz, remember, Kamala Harris's running mate in her failed presidential campaign, telling the protesters that, ICE agents are basically Nazis. That does nothing but add fuel to the fire, and he is not helping. He's actually encouraging this craziness.
Yeah, I'll come to that in a moment. I agree with you. It's a dangerous situation, and politicians on both sides need to be more restrained. Here's what the Trump administration is saying. Here's Caroline Levitt at the White House.
President Trump does not want any Americans to lose their lives in the streets of America. He believes what happened on Saturday is a tragedy.
So there's Caroline Levitt on behalf of the president. But going back to Tim Walz, the governor in Minnesota, have a look at what he had to say.
We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota. And there's one person who can end this now.
I mean, Kristin, this bloke is over the top. As you say, he's been encouraging or demonising the ICE agents, and therefore encouraging protesters. And now he's comparing Anne Frank. He's invoking the Holocaust to try and dissuade people from abiding the law. It's terrible leadership.
It's absolutely sickening to liken protesters protecting, again, child rapists, murderers, and drug dealers to people who are trying to protect Jewish people during World War II. It is a sickening comparison, and it absolutely makes this problem much worse. And that's why you have a situation now where the leftist rioters have these huge signal chats going on where they are telling each other license plates of vehicles that they believe to be ICE. In many cases, they're not even ICE vehicles, and hordes of these rioters will just, follow and stalk these vehicles, intimidate normal people that they believe are ICE agents or sometimes real ICE agents who are just trying to do their job. It is complete leftist, violent lawlessness, and it needs to be put down.
Let me just share with you and the viewers these comments from an ICE agent, which remind the media and the protesters of who the ICE agents are actually trying to arrest.
We're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here honking.
Oh, we're not. No, we're press. No, we're not.
That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane.
It is insane indeed. And Kristin, we'll see what the president does, whether there's any change in the operations there. Before we let you go, though, I've got to get your update on the weather. These winter storms and ice storms, especially in the northeast of the US, have been a real problem. 25 lives lost. I know you're snowed in at your home in Boston at the moment. Just how bad is the situation?
Well, it's great for those of us who love snow and live in areas that can accommodate a lot of snow, like up here in Boston. Yes, we've had well over 2 feet, maybe even 3 feet. I don't know anymore. The snow is still coming down. I can't even leave my property right now because of the snow. But snow lovers like me, we love this. But in other parts of the country, like the mid-Atlantic region, where they've gotten hit hard too, yeah, they're not well equipped to deal with this kind of thing. So you have a lot of catastrophes where people are freezing in their homes, people are dying. So of course that's tragic. But I just want to say, Chris, I've been hearing for the last 10 years from different people, including Al Gore and John Kerry and AOC, that the world was going to burn and be over. They told me this a decade ago, that within 10 years, the world would be completely on fire and global warming was going to end everything. Well, now we're sitting under 3 feet of snow. So it looks like global warming hasn't come for us yet.
Yeah, heat waves here in Australia, snowstorms in the US, same as it ever was at this time of the year, I guess. Thanks for joining us, Kristin.
Thank you, Chris.